What's going on, guys? Something happened pretty cool the other day. You guys may see me pull out stuff like this. Jason Guthrie Scout. If you want to know my opinion on it, great tool. Don't think it's worth the custom tag, price tag, and all the hype over how custom it is. And if you want more details about that, I kind of went into that in my video I did on this knife. But you might see me pull out something like this, which, I have lots of knives. I've been very fortunate to own lots of knives. In the probably going on 20 years I've been in this hobby, or however you want to call it. But believe it or not, my buddy hit me up. He asked me to sharpen his knife, and he asked me to sharpen his son's knife. Well, this knife right here actually was mine. This old little Spyderco was mine. I had it honestly, probably not that long. I probably had it maybe 6 or 8 months. And my buddy was getting into knives. I was kind of getting into some more of the higher end Spydercos, knives in that price range, $125, $150. So I gave this to him. And it's always cool when I know lots of us have gifted knives to people, and they come back and you get to check them out and all that stuff. But this is one that I sent out. I gave to him years ago, and I don't know, he must not be using this a whole lot. I mean, it's dull, but it's not as dull as I've seen some knives. Let's see if I have some paper around here. This is not the greatest paper, but this is a piece of envelope. Oh, maybe it is pretty dull, or maybe I just can't cut this. No, it's more dull than I thought. Okay, so it is pretty dull. But he's used it, he's enjoyed it, and it has served him well, which if you go back to my other video that I did, I don't know when I would have released it, but the one previous to this, if you saw that video on context, this knife probably was I think I even bought it used, it probably was a $30 knife at the time, maybe $40 knife, maybe at the time, and it served him well. He's used it. It's done everything he's needed it to do. The lockup has moved over a good bit. He probably, I would guess in the next year or two, looking at how he uses this knife, that lock is probably going to be worn out, but it's still solid. There's no up and down or side to side. So you don't necessarily have to have something like this just to have a good tool to use every single day. Now, his son's knife. This is his son's knife. I don't know what it is. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell me. I thought it might have something on the clip, but no, it doesn't. I know it doesn't flip all that well, and it's got what we all love, that jimping right on the flipper path. But it does have jimping up on the blade, which is something that, as a guy with a long thumb, I always prefer. Anyway, I'm rambling. The only other thing I really wanted to talk about was, other than, it's cool to give gift knives, guys. If you know somebody that is kind of on the fence, giving somebody a knife, even if it's an older knife that you've had, can kind of get them interested in the hobby and get them started moving in the direction of being a knife owner. So that's always a pretty cool thing. But the other thing I wanted to touch on, kind of to circle back to 2 videos ago, guys, if you have not taken the time to attempt to learn how to sharpen, and this is no judgment, there's so much value in being able to sharpen your own knife. There's so much you can learn about the knife steel, how steep of an angle it can hold. Does the burr come off easily, or is it difficult for the burr to come off? That can tell you some about the heat treatment. How often do you need to sharpen it? Except what type of finish does the edge take? How sharp does it get when you get it sharp, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that you would never know unless you sharpen your knife. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of those things are a lot easier to pick up with freehanding, which is a lot more difficult to learn. but it's a lot more rewarding, in my opinion, and in a lot of the opinions of people that I know that do freehand sharpen and or have done both. I fall into the latter category. I've done both, but learning how to sharpen your knives, again, I'm not knocking my buddy or anything like that or his son, but there's so much to be gained. And you guys let me know, but I think I want to talk more about sharpening. I think I want to kind of document more of my sharpening, just to kind of show you guys and hopefully bring everybody together in a conversation around sharpening and help us all get better at sharpening, because I just think there's so much value to it. But with that being said, you know the tag. A lazy man carries a dull knife. Right back to the point of sharpening. And don't be a dumb person with a smartphone.